Welcome to the Butkus Show here at WCKG. Join us as football legend Hall of Famer Dick Butkus and his son, Matt Butkus, tackle the game, life, and everything in between. Get ready for an inside look at the heart and soul of football with the wisdom of the gridiron passed down through the generations. It's hard-hitting insights and heartfelt stories right here on the Butkus Show.
Hello, I'm Matt Butkus.
And I'm Dick Butkus, and this is the Butkus Show.
Well, we'll be doing this a little recap, Dad, on the Bears this year every week, and the Illini. So let's dive right in. And obviously, I don't think each of us suspected the Bears to be winless right now, right?
Well, especially after last week and the 28-point lead that they blew. Everybody is on Justin Fields' case now, and maybe rightly so. But I'm telling you, I kind of equate that to the play of the middle linebacker and the corner linebackers. This year, the Bears spent some money and went after Tremaine Edwards and T.J. Edwards. That was, of course, if you remember back when Raquan was, I guess, requesting some ridiculous money. And I often thought about that. Why would you want to get rid of that? But I guess it was a money issue. And these two people were maybe available to the Bears, and therefore they made the trade. The problem is what a lot of non-football people realize is that it's a team effort playing team defense. And as linebackers, you're the core of the whole thing. Everything sort of revolves around you. Now, if I don't have a chance to do what I'm supposed to do, which is make tackles, break up pass plays, whatever, we're going to have a poor defense. And that all leads up to who is playing in front of me. The four guys, the four down linemen playing in front of these linebackers are not doing their job of not only rushing the passer, but they're also forgetting about taking on people and keeping them off the linebackers. Now you say, well, they're 0-4, 5, and they're crappy and they're not any good or whatever. Well, I remember, and I believe it was 1969, that the Bears were, we won one game out of 14 or 15, and yet I was able to win the Defensive Player of the Year award. Now, why am I saying that and bragging about it or whatever? I'm trying to give you an indication of what type of player you have to have. And evidently, the Bears don't have that key guy on defense that everybody revolves around. The defensive line, that's terrible. And if you want to swing it over to the offensive side, it's the same thing with the offensive line. Come on. You're trying to get Fields to throw with a 3 to 5 second drop. And you look at the Dolphins with their quarterback, Tagovailoa, whatever it is. He fires it. It's like from 0 to 3 seconds, and that ball's released, and they got, Tyrell. They just got speed to burn over there. But I just, everybody is kind of down on the players, but, didn't the front office make this mistake a couple times already with their quarterback picks and everything else? It's just blowing me away. How can you sit there and watch what Detroit has done in the last year and a half to 2 years to accumulate the players, to have a head coach that they seem to want to play for? I'll go back to the first week with our picks. I picked the Lions over Kansas City specifically because I just happened to catch Detroit's last exhibition game. And usually they play the scrubs and everything, but the way they were flying around on defense, and our boy Campbell, Jack Campbell, is playing outstanding. Um, I don't see that with the Bears. I don't know what you see. You're there at the field, and you must catch what your neighbors are talking about during
Sure.
the game.
Yeah. And when you look back, when people look back, probably the successful, when you were talking about the offense and defensive line, right? You look back and when were we successful? When we won the Super Bowl. And look at that line, offensive and defensive. And when Singletary won Defensive Player of the Year and Urlacher won Defensive Player of the Year, like you were saying, you just look up front. So I agree on that. Obviously, it starts up front. At the game, it's crazy. People are they're in bewilderment and in some cases, like some of the play calls and stuff like that. So it's a lot of people are getting on the coaches also. Maybe when you don't have that good of a team, you need a really good coaching to put yourself into better situations. I think, when you have really good players, you can maybe make a little mistake on a play call or something, and they can make up for it with their pure talent. But doesn't seem like that we can do that. And it seems like we do the same stuff all the time. And you look at other teams, and it's just goal line situations, just the creativity of other teams and their plays. It just seems like when the Bears run them, they don't work.
Well, wait a minute now. If you'll look over this past weekend, now everybody, when it's 4th and 1 or short, they're doing the Eagle wedge and not as successful as the Eagles do it.
Right.
It always has monkey see, monkey do league since even when I was playing. Some coaches figured out something that works for them, and then other teams, their opponents, they look at that. Well, we should try that. Well, but maybe you don't have the right ingredients to make that infamous mistake.
Like watching Kansas City and the Jets. They do the same, that bubble screen with Kelsey, and their guys get down, they make the blocks, and he runs for 15. But I guess that's Kansas City. So we do it. The ball's thrown at your foot, and by the time you get down to catch it, 5 guys are on you. So,
we could probably talk all morning about this. We better move on to some of our picks. See what
do you be? You following the Illini too a little bit?
I've been following them when I could. I missed them last weekend, but the first weekend, the second weekend, I was in disbelief. Quite frankly, I thought they were going to just step off from where they left off last year. And this guy Weatherspoon, I mean, they're he's the next thing to whatever after the Monday night game or the other game the other day. They had like top four guys, defensive backs were picked in the first 3 or 4 rounds.
Yeah.
So I thought they were going to, really, take off after that, the great year they had last year. And I don't know what happened. It just didn't happen. So I think we lost more than we thought with Witherspoon and the other defensive backs, with the Twins. I think, it was a little bit too much to overcome in some of those key positions. So
like with both the teams, the Bears and Illini, before the season, you're right, it was more excitement, and we probably pick up where we left off, because the Bears with Fields running and doing all that stuff. So everybody was excited for the Bears and the Illini, but it's just It's just not happening.
not happening. They just don't have the right combinations, offensively and defensively.
Well, I want to ask you one question. Like you were touching on before in '69. I mean, how does what's your mindset and being the leader of the defense to have these people or your players, not pack it in? So, we're losing game after game after game. And how would what was going through your mind and being a leader and it's got to be tough, right?
Well, I go back to say that there is no way you can play a perfect game. No way you can grade out 100. There's always something else you can do. Well, that just becomes all the more, I would say, easier because of the poor team that we had. Everybody should have no problem looking in the mirror and saying, how much of a factor is my inability to do my job causing this disaster here? And I just don't think a lot of guys have that in them. Everybody loves to be a front runner and everything else. It's very few and far between that you find the guys with the ability and the desire to not accept defeat in any way if it's possible to avoid. And that's the way I looked at it. And I saw a guy, they laughing in the meetings, they're looking at films and they're laughing about it. I mean, don't you have any pride? Don't you stop and think and wait? Well, wait a minute. We're not only looking at these game films; the other teams are looking at them. And all of a sudden, you play a team that you haven't played in a while, and you're playing like crap. And it's there for everybody to see. I mean, to me, that would be an incentive not to give in or whatever. But I mean, to answer succinctly is just that if you don't have the players, in this league, you can pull some wool over people's eyes in high school and maybe college, but when you get to the pros,
So we'll have our picks of the week. And I don't know how good they're going to be. So weekly, we're going to have our picks also. We'll have our the Butkus picks, and we can match them up against each other and see how we do. So we're going to already know, since our show is taped, we'll already have the winner when it airs. So, but the Bears are in Washington. They play Riverboat Ron, an old Bear, 85 Bear, who I actually think is a very good coach. So who do you think, Dad? Bears at Washington?
Oh, I gotta go with the Commanders. They kind of surprised me the first couple of games. They played well the other day also, but they lost. But that's a good point you make about Ron Rivera. I don't know where he was when Bears were looking for coaches, but he would have been a favorite pick. So I'm going to go with the Commanders. There's going to go, well, sometimes it's common sense. They're playing there. And the Commanders, whoever thought that name up, whatever. I don't know if the Bears can snap back that fast.
Right. And I'm just looking at that game and looking at that team as we go through this. Obviously, you'll have the upper echelon of teams. And this is, I don't know, this could be I think, a winnable game for the Bears. I mean, they're not going against Kansas City, and those are the ones that maybe you could try to pick off. So I'm gonna go with the Bears to win their first game. So I'll take the Bears.
Good luck.
Yeah.
All right, what's the next?
All right, we got the Jaguars at the Bills, and it's overseas.
Yeah. Well, the owner of
Seems like
the
Jacksonville plays a lot over there all the time,
oh,
right?
that's because of their owner. If there's any owner, Shaib, whatever his name is, he went to Illinois, and great guy. I met him. Uh, I think he wants to have that team, the first NFL team, maybe in England or whatever, or in Europe would be. Give the nod to him. He does a lot of business over there, but that's not going to help him this week. I think the Bills are going to win.
Yeah, the Bills. It seems like after what they did to Miami, and so I'll go Bills with you. The Houston Texans at the Atlanta Falcons.
Well, I was following the Falcons for a while there, a week or two, but I'm going to go with the Texans. I think that Devin, the coach there, has done a great job, and that was it. C.J. Stroud, the Ohio
Yeah,
State quarterback, is playing well, so I'm going to go with the Texans.
another team last year. Texans were terrible, and yet through the draft, just comparing the Bears again to everybody, this team seems like it turned around a little bit, unlike the Bears. So I'll go Texans with you. It seems like they're playing well.
Yeah.
So here, what about Carolina at Detroit?
I got to go with Detroit. I think just each week they're getting more and more confidence, and that's good when the coach strives at his philosophy of playing hard, hitting hard, going after it. They're saying what happens when you do that is that victories seem to fall in order. So I think
Yeah,
that's a good thing going there, and I like the Lions.
I'll go the Lions with you too. Yeah, the Panthers will 0-5, I think. How about Tennessee Titans at the Colts?
Uh, you know, I uh, I like the Titans, but I been doing a little research on the Colts quarterback, and they're bragging about how he has four rushing touchdowns. The only rookie to do that in the first four games. Blah blah blah. Uh, I'm going to go with the Titans though, but they're getting some excellent play from their quarterback. Uh, so
Yeah,
to say that a rookie can't get it done, if you put restraints on him, do what the kid can do best until he learns more. He's doing a pretty good job there with the Colts, but I'm going to go with the Titans.
no. And I'll go with the Titans with you. I kind of like that coach kind of has a little Detroit effect. He's played. Seems like his guys want to play for him there in Tennessee. Vrabel. All right, moving on to a team that might be worse than the Bears. The New York Giants at the Dolphins.
I almost, I got up from my chair after the game, and I was sore. I don't know how that quarterback got through the game. I mean, that line was, uh, you, you put them up against the Bears and flip a coin. Awful, awful performance. And poor kid. And now they're playing the Dolphins. I got the Dolphins.
Right after the Dolphins kind of got their ass kicked,
A little bit.
right? They were brought down to size by the Bills last week.
Yeah.
So that could get ugly down there. So I'll go Miami with you, obviously. How about New Orleans at New England?
I think New England is. I think the um, quarterback's got to make a little rebound, and they seem to figure out how they can help him. He's making some bad decisions, really. So it's just a matter of him getting his head put on. But after a loss like they did last week to the Patriots, you got to go with them.
Yeah, I'll go the Patriots with you. I think I think the Saints quarterback situation, they're all banged up. So I gotta go. I'll go with you with the Patriots at home. How about here's a good division rival, the Baltimore Ravens at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I was picking a seesaw back and forth with these two teams. And every time I started with the Steelers, they lost the first couple, and then the Ravens. Uh, I'm gonna. Trubinsky's supposed to start. I'm gonna go with the Ravens. I think they're getting hot right now.
All right. And TJ Watt's having a great year.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with Baltimore with you. Here could be a good one. The Eagles are at the Rams.
Yeah, the Rams. Stafford's a little sore, banged up, but they're playing a little bit better. That's going to be a reach if they're playing out here, but I'll go with the Rams.
All right, I'll take Philly. See if they can go to 5-0. And here's a team that I guess you can't figure out until the quarterback gets healthy. Is Cincinnati Bengals?
Yeah,
at the Arizona Cardinals.
Like who cares? Man.
They're both 1-5.
Yeah, I like that. I've never heard and haven't in all of my years of experience of playing and everything. I've never come across a calf muscle being this supposedly bad. That this guy has been trying to recover for the last 8 or 9 weeks, and counting the off season.
Yeah.
What the hell could it be? I don't. Well, all right, let's forget that. I'm going to take them anyway. What the hell? I'm going to take the Bengals.
I'll go with Arizona at home just for the heck of it.
Yeah.
All right, we got the New York Jets at the Broncos.
Who cares again? Jeez. I'm going to go with the Jets. They're piling on this Zach Thomas and whatever. Is that his name? Zach Thomas, the quarterback.
Oh, well, Zach Wilson?
Zach Wilson?
Yeah. What about those? That's funny. I just jumped into my mind. The Jets and the Broncos. Didn't you? When you were drafted, weren't those the two other teams, the cities that you might have went to?
That was them. The Broncos were everything was rigged back then. Everybody had their picks and just went through a formality of the draft. And
yeah, we'll get
my attorney said, playing in Denver would be like playing in Gary, Indiana at the time, just to tick them off, I guess. And then Sonny Warbin told me, he says, 20 minutes more and you would have been a Jet because they were taking a lot of time with Joe's contract, famous contract.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it could have been a Jet.
So did you, did you take the Jets in this one?
I'll take the Jets, yeah. Yeah.
All right. I'll go with the home team Broncos after their first victory. Maybe they're on a roll.
Yeah.
All right, here's a pretty good game. The Chiefs at the Vikings.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to go with the Chiefs. Like to see the Vikes lose because they're in our division anyway, but something's going on there. Not playing that well. I got the Chiefs.
All right. Go Chiefs with you. Then the night game, the Cowboys at the 49ers.
Going to be a good game, and I got the 49ers.
I think I'll go 49ers with you. If it was at the Cowboys, I'd take the Cowboys. But it's not. So I'm going to Niners. Monday night, your favorite two teams.
Yeah.
Green Bay at the Raiders.
Yeah, I think I like the Packers. I hate to say it, but yeah, I got I'll take the Packers.
I'm going to go Raiders. Hopefully their quarterback's back. If Garoppolo's back, which I'm hoping, I'm going to go the Raiders just because I never picked the Packers. And it's the first week of some buys. The Browns, the Chargers, the Seahawks, and the Bucks all have buys. So, all righty. We'll see how you do. So we've been doing the Butkus Award here for a while, Dad. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the history and how it came about? Maybe touch upon some of the winners. Maybe touch upon some of the stories about our travels during the past 20 years, and let our listeners know what's going on.
Well, there was a group or a few guys that I knew in Florida, and they had an athletic club there in Orlando, and I was doing radio for the Bears at the time, and we were playing the Bucks back down there, and they called me to have a little meeting about, they had this idea of naming an award, a linebacker award after me and for college, and I said, okay, but whatever is raised got to go to a good cause and everything else. And so, oh yeah, that'll happen. So the first few years, it went okay, and then I noticed the crowd wasn't getting any bigger, and I knew that Orlando is not the media mecca of the world, and what's going on. So I had mentioned it because I would fly in, do the award Saturday night, and then fly out to wherever the Bears were playing. So on this one particular flight, one of the guys from the club said, I asked him, I says, I don't know if it's me or what, but I said, it looks like there's hardly any people. It doesn't seem like it's growing here. We've been doing it for 4 or 5 years. And he said, well, it's private. And I said, what do you mean it's private? Well, it's a club. It's an athletic club. And what more or less they were doing, they were having this award banquet as their Christmas party. It was a tuxedo affair, blah, blah, blah. So when I heard that, they weren't really given much proceeds because there weren't any proceeds, I guess. So a couple other things happened, and I decided to change, and they fought me on it. So in 2008, I believe, we decided that I'm going to take over the award myself rather than leaving it up to them. And they got kind of hot about it, and they thought they actually owned the rights to my name. And actually, if you look back, my case against the Downtown Athletic Club over the Butkus Award was really the first time that anybody as a player, although I was a retired player, said that you cannot use my name. My name belongs to me, and there was no contest in the court. So virtually these kids that are getting these deals while they're still playing, actually it was from that case, although no one says it such, because they had different things, and one of the things that bugged me, I thought it was to have a classy award, you would give one to the player and one to the school for their trophy case. Well, when we saw the one for SC, I asked about it, and they bought it. The athletic club charged them for the trophy. And I just thought that was such a classless move. So anyway, we started in 2008, and what we found was that what was going on with kids in high school, where it was a steroid time, and we're coming across where parents were literally giving their kids steroids, thinking that, someday they're going to be this great pro or whatever. So we started this initiative of saying, like, play clean. And we had Old Spice as a sponsor for the first 5 years, and they had access to over 10,000 high schools. So they were always trying to get their products into the high school. So we thought that would be a good time to get guys to think about, because you have to sign a release saying that you did not take steroids. So now someone would say, well, they could lie, and I'm like, well, here we go again. You'll find most guys that take steroids or whatever are not class people. So
Are liars to begin with.
I wouldn't worry about it. And then we kind of tossed in like like a pro award just to cover that also. So our first high school winner was Manti.
So remember that? So we had to go to, quote unquote, we had to go to Hawaii.
Yeah. What I a couple things. One time when I was doing the radio, I was in the press booth there at Soldier Field, and heard some people talking about, and it was late in the fall when all the All-American teams were coming out. And I heard these two guys talk like, yeah, I'm getting all these damn lists. I got to fill this out. I got to fill that out for All-America, this. He says, you know what I do? The guy says, what? He says, well, I had my wife do it. What? He says, yeah, she picks. I let her pick them. And it just burned a hole in my ear about what the hell is this all about? So when I was doing the broadcasting there with WGN, Hub Arkush was one of the commentators, and he had Pro Football Weekly. And I asked him that, hey, we take over this award. Can you give me some ideas on picking some people for the selection committee? Because of this incident I heard about this ESPN guy saying he has his wife fill it out. And he says, well, sure, we can do that. And that's where Nolan came from. And he's great on his picks. And we got 51, a selection committee of 51. And you look up and down that list. And, we get a lot of heat because a lot of fanfare starts up during the couple of weeks when the semifinalists are getting narrowed down, and one school will be bitching, why isn't their guy there? And this, everybody's arguing with everybody else, but I don't argue with anybody because of the selection committee. I have complete support. They have my complete support of the picks they have, because they haven't been too bad, to tell you the truth. Guys that they picked deserved it. So that was it. If we stop the Butkus Award right now, I wouldn't lose any sleep over it. It's a great honor, but along with stuff like that, it means we want something from you, and it's a good way to propel our Play Clean initiative, or our other one about obesity, and also about Takes Heart. So all that is hooked up with the foundation, the Butkus Foundation, primarily streaming off the awards. And on the award itself, when I was just looking around, I had one handy here, it says the player who wins this award is told two things. One, he's the best linebacker in the country. And second of all, and more importantly, he has to continue with the American tradition of giving back. We want our players, whether it's cancer or alcoholism or steroids or heart problem, get an initiative and get in there, because now by winning this award, you're somebody, a little bit of notch over what you had been. So people are going to look at you as a leader, and that's what we sort of think as linebackers all along, as being the leaders on the team. So that's one thing that we're trying to get across to everybody. And every year we try to get gatherings together, and we do a TV show sometimes with the winners of that year. It varies. Sometimes we do a show, sometimes we don't. And what's another thing was different with the award was that when I was getting all these awards, I would be flying out to all these different places. It was during final week, usually late fall, and you'd fly somewhere and you get this award. Oh yeah, everybody clapping. I don't know a single person there other than maybe the coach that came with me if it was an underclassman. And so, oh, here's the whatever Thorpe Award. Here's this award. Oh yeah, okay. So and then you fly home or whatever. Well, I wanted to go to that place, go to that school, and surprise the kid. Let his teammates know with the deal of not letting it out of the bag. Their parents, if they're close by or whatever, we fly them in so that the guy who wins the award is celebrating and is getting the award in front of his peers, guys that played with him and his family. And so they all get to enjoy the benefits of that.
Yeah, we've seen that firsthand, right? With these guys winning it, and they get to share in the experience rather than watching their teammate win it somewhere else on some show.
Right, and
this year we're adding the Player of the Month, and we're also adding on our website at the butkusaward.com. You can see the selection committee. You can see some of the events that we're doing. I wanted to give a shout out to AmericanEagle.com. There in Chicago did a heck of a job. But I wanted to get into our first winner of our first Butkus Player of the Month. September's is Peyton Wilson kid from North Carolina State. So I had a chance to watch him, and this kid's something special. In the beginning of the year, I just me personally, I go because I'm visiting the kids and stuff like that. There was other big namers on the list. This guy wasn't a big namer in the beginning, but he's certainly playing his ass off. So it doesn't mean he's going to win the award, but he's well on his way. So if you have a chance, watch North Carolina State and Peyton Wilson. He's a heck of a player.
Well, that's what a lot of guys, we get a lot of heat. We get a lot of heat, when I remember Iowa, we seem to have a lot of guys from Iowa. And a couple of years ago, a couple of them did get picked and we got barraged by, hate mail and everything else. But that's good. That's good that they're paying attention to it. And and also the selection committee can move on their feet also because later sometimes when you have the nominees for the finalists, 51 guys, sometimes I don't know, we'd have to check, but sometimes there's guys added, guys taken off during the course of the year. So
yeah,
always kind of interesting to see where these guys are playing. And again, we have no influence with the voting and everything else. I don't know why they come at me. How can Butkus pick this guy, this guy? Well, I beg to differ with you. I'll challenge any of these awards with our selection committee. That's how committed I am to them. And they say these guys aren't schmucks. They know what the hell they're doing.
And one of the special things that I like about our award is we give it to 3 different levels. I think that's that's kind of cool.
Now what happens at near the end of the season. We'll get a lot of inquiries about some of the semifinalists and everything else, and so the public starts. I think what they do it's sort of like it's they all like if it's on a campus. At least I would do this if I was at some school and followed my football team, and there was a Butkus nominee at playing linebacker. I'd get everybody to write in the Butkus Awards and say, "Hey, pick my guy." And I think we had a lot of that And it's based on, well, my guy, you don't have him down there. How can you not have so-and-so down there when he's leading the tackles and this and that? And, all these different reasons. Believe me, that's not it. I mean, everything is based on the ability of our selection committee to pick out these guys who deserve it that year. Doesn't mean because he doesn't get in the Hall of Fame after he's done playing that he wasn't a successful linebacker in college. So that has nothing to do with it. All it does is reinforce our selection committee when you see guys like DeMarcus Ware in the Hall of Fame and Patrick Willis up for the Pro Football Hall of Fame and all these different colleges awards that our linebackers have gotten over the years. So that's the real deal. And it's an indication that our selection committee knows what the hell they're doing. Because, how many guys can you pick for an award and he ends up, getting in the Hall of Fame? So that's why I back my guys 100%. They know what the hell they're doing.
Thank you for joining the Butkus Show here at WCKG. Remember to stay tuned every week for more football insights and exciting stories. Until next time.